Time. It's both fleeting and eternal, a thread connecting past and present. What if Shakespeare the Bard himself walked among us today, here at GCU? What would he see? What would he feel, and how would this modern world inspire him? In this short film, we journey through time and imagination. We explore the essence of Shakespeare, his enduring legacy, and what his presence could mean in a place like GCU. Because the questions he asked then are the ones we still ask today.
A sunny morning, the chill of dusk wraps around the silent amphitheater. Though empty, it feels alive. The whispers of history carried on the breeze. Imagine Shakespeare here, weary from the day, seeking refuge in this quiet lost heaven. He sits on the cold stone bench, tea in his hands, steam rising like the restless thoughts of a genius. This solitude, this stillness is where ideas are born. Can you see him wrestling with the question that would define Hamlet? This weight of indecision, then softly almost a whisper. To be or not to be, that is the question. Here Shakespeare would turn his reflection into words that would echo for centuries, a testament to the power of quiet contemplation.
Imagine if Shakespeare was here. He would sit anywhere in the Shahab garden, depending on his mood where to sit. He would be as quiet as a dark, gloomy night. observing the young minds chatting and gossiping with each other. He would just look at the beautiful lean trees, grass being watered by the pipe to keep it fresh and wet. Its fragrance spreading everywhere, also touching Shakespeare's core. He would take a look at the sun, shining brightly during morning and at noon. He would then take out his mobile, take pictures of these and post them on social media. Pondering on all these things, he would write on his notes app, "And this our life, exempt from public haunt. Finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything."
And here, in Bukhari Auditorium, Shakespeare would have felt right at home, because here lies his whole heart, a vast grand space where the stories of kings and queens, villains and lovers come to life. His art of writing would have got a chance to be more than words and mingle with the art of act. Just as the curtains rise for students' performances, Shakespeare would have been once at the very same position, writing, directing, and perhaps performing his own works for the eager audiences. He probably would have been the senior scriptwriter, or maybe the president of Dramatics Club, which has been practicing its glory since years and years at Bukhari Auditorium. Imagine Shakespeare stepping onto these stairs, perhaps directing the production of Macbeth or King Lear. With every line he delivered, he would not only have thought about the actors on the stage, but also about the audience, how his words would resonate with the minds of those in the seats, and how his characters' ambitions, desires, and flaws would spark something deep in the minds of those who watched. It is quite easy to picture Shakespeare here in MB16, the Queen of English department. Shakespeare would have sat on these desks listening intently to the discussions and debates among students. Or perhaps he would have scribbled a note in his journal. One more thing, Shakespeare would have stayed after class in here just to admire these grand windows letting sunlight illuminate his soul. And now, let me take you to the potential favorite spot of Shakespeare. Shakespeare might have paused before climbing stairs to the English department. Perhaps he would have stopped to greet students passing by. One thing to mention is that Shakespeare won't have confused way up with way down. Shakespeare's footsteps would have echoed in this corridor. He might have arrived earlier than scheduled to spend time in the library. Shakespeare would have stood right here to take aesthetic pictures. Perhaps he would have spent hours in the library with earplugs tucked in. Or Shakespeare might have written an ode to library.
And here, in the warm glow of the cafeteria in the evening, Shakespeare would have mingled with the students. We could picture him sitting at a table, perhaps sipping on some tea. The air is crisp in the winter, and Shakespeare would have found a safe haven in this crisp evening of the cafeteria. And in this very spot, Shakespeare would have heard stories of love, conflict, and ambition, all of which would have reminded him of the very heart of his place. Perhaps he overheard the conversation between two students debating about the nature of love, which inspired him to refine the dialogues of Romeo and Juliet.
Ah, these innocent lovers, they know not the true essence of love. Their hearts, still untouched by the weight, the pain, the sacrifice, the loss. Look, what I am willing to do for love's sake. I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum.
They have turned me in jeans and cloaked me in modernity, made me a vendor of halls and Gothic towers. Yet they have but half glimpsed my soul. In their mirth they miss the truth. In their laughter they forget the depth, the sorrow of a king, the tragedy of love. In their haste to make me part of their world, they have left the heart of my stories unpenned, unplayed.